to the cloud. All right. There we go. Hey, Karen.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good. How's everything?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm waiting for people to come because we got two classes going on at the same time.
Oh, really? Okay.
So let's see how many may join us. So we're early.
Okay. How's 2021 sounding for you so far?
Losing deals so far. Bidding wars again. It's like it's ended where 2021 stopped.
That's true. Yeah.
Where 2020 stopped. Went into contract and it was FHA. Friday we had the contract waiting for signatures. And Monday we didn't have the contract. Higher offer came in.
Oh man.
Hey Yolanda.
Hey, is
How
that
are
Leonard?
Leonard. Yes. Hi, Yolanda. How you
How are
doing?
you?
I'm
I
great.
see U00706. That's your agent number?
Yeah, that's my secret agent number. I'm on my work computer, so that's my user ID
Okay.
on my work laptop. So yeah.
Yolanda's been with me 3 years now.
Yes, girl. Ain't going nowhere.
Good.
I heard y'all talking about the market, and I just called an agent, Karen, and Plainfield is hot.
I
On the
tell
market
you, the
3 days,
suburbs.
46 offers. I don't know.
Suburbs are out off the charts. It's crazy how the suburbs are.
Yeah.
Hey Edward, how are you?
All right. Hello, everyone.
This is
Hey,
Leonard.
Ed, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Of which I was going to call you later after this meeting to see what your schedule is Sunday, Edward.
Sunday.
Look at your calendar. Don't answer nothing before you look at your calendar.
I'm rolling through it mentally. What time Sunday?
What time you have to leave, Yolanda?
I have to be there at 3 o'clock, and I believe it's about a 24 5-minute drive. So Union. And I tried to call and say, listen, my client is going to be in the area already. I have an open house. can I send you all the information up front so you know? And she was like, unfortunately, I'm not the sitting agent. And the sitting agent said anybody that come through without their agent, they have to sign an exclusive buyer and they become her client. So they only show, huh?
We had that issue back in probably early 2000s where they were in an open house. That was it. You became that person's client.
Yeah, and this is not even an open house. They just showing it for the one day at those hours, a 15-minute window. You have to call showing time, and showing time only had 2 slots available. Because I was trying to make it like later or early. I was at their mercy, 3 to 3:15.
So she needs to leave at 2:30. So I'm not sure how your schedule is going to be with the assembly.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing mine Saturday.
Okay, yeah, I was just Saturday.
Yeah, our assembly is Saturday.
Yeah, we get the Saturday meeting, yeah.
All right, so then we're good. Check your schedule. Let me know after the meeting.
Okay.
All right, it's 12 o'clock. So I'm going to get started. I'd like to introduce Leonard. He works with Wells Fargo. He's one of the mortgage reps that I've been knowing over the years. And he's going to drop us some knowledge today. Go on, Leonard. You're on.
All right, thanks, Karen. Yeah, so Karen, thanks again, Karen, for letting me talk, come and speak to everyone today. So I just basically want to talk a little bit about myself. Born and raised in Brooklyn. Now I'm happy. I know Yolanda's from Brooklyn too. Happy New Jersey residence for the past few years. I have 2 beautiful daughters. I tell you that because they're teenagers, so please pray for me because I have one just turned 13, so the other one's 14. So I need all the prayer I could get, so please do. But that's my personal stuff. But been in the mortgage business for 22 years, worked everywhere from, spent a few years with a mortgage broker, spent some time with a small bank, and now I'm at Wells Fargo, which I guess everyone considers a big bank. So I've worked in all aspects of the financing world, I guess you could say. So I just wanted to talk more about today. I'll touch on some products and stuff, but what I really wanted to focus on, I didn't want to do the regular mortgage banker come speak spiel and brag about the products and the bank I work for. I kind of wanted to focus on, let you know how I work with the realtors and agents I partner with, how I help them build and grow their business. I think that's important. I mean, everybody has a preference who you work with. I know me and Karen, I mentioned this about big banks or a small bank or correspondent lender, whatever you want to call it. But it's more about what I'm helping you do. Because, banks, and I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for a long time. Most banks, we all have the same products. I mean, whether it's Chase, Wells Fargo, Loan Depot, Homebridge, whoever you're doing business with, a mortgage broker, we have the basic same products. We have FHA, we have conventional, VA, jumbo. So I mean, some banks we do have our own portfolio products, and Wells Fargo is no different. We have a few. I'll just touch on that. I said I wasn't gonna focus on products, but we do have our portfolio products, or if you want to call them unique products. And all portfolio means is that these are products that we set the guidelines for ourselves, not Fannie or Freddie, and we keep them on the books once they're closed. So it's with us holding the mortgages after they close, this allows us to give a little more advantage to the borrower, you could say. Like I said, we make the guidelines, so we're not following any rules by any other government agency or entity. So we have one of our portfolio products. We have a great jumbo portfolio product, one of the best on the market right now. And so when it comes to high end, I do a lot of business high end condos down in Jersey City, Hoboken, other areas in New York, and it's a great product for that. We have specialty unique programs. We have things like we have a loan for union members. Anyone who's in the paying dues union. Who's a union member who's paying their dues. It's called Union Plus. We're the only bank who has that. So it's unique. They get a benefit where they get cash back at closing, and a huge benefit that they receive is that, if they were to go on strike or lost their income or had to go on disability, we'll cover their loan for 6 months interest free. So with a time like this with COVID, that's a great program, especially for union members. And other products we have a, you know, portfolio 3% down on one families, which, you know, competes against FHA. We have a 5% down for two families. So we do like any other bank, and like I said, everybody basically has the same products, but you will find that some banks have specialty products. But the main thing I speak about when I sit down with an agent or broker that I may want to do business with is the most important things is what products do you need? You know, what will help you build and grow your business? That's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know. Because when I'm working with you, I have to be adding value to your business. You know, I must be helping you grow. That's how I look at it. And adding value to your business to help you grow is not just me calling you back when you call on time, or, you know, giving you an update every week on your loan or getting the loan finally closed. I mean, I'm supposed to do that. That's my job. You know, that's what all mortgage bankers do. Any banker in Jersey could do that for you. You know, I mean, that, you know, that's a commodity. And don't get me wrong, great customer service, products, and closing, you know, is very important. But my passion lies in helping agents I partner with grow and build their business, you know. And that's why I must know, you know, what products you need, what are your goals, what are your visions for your business. And then my job is to help you come up with those strategies and give you advice to get you where you want to be, you know, because I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Growth, being better than you were yesterday, serving and changing the lives of your sellers and buyers. And it's not about the transaction. It's, you know, it's about the relationship to me. And I basically become partners with every realtor I work with. I'm like a shareholder in their business. I care just as much about their business as I do about mine. And when I grow, when they grow, I grow. When they succeed, I succeed. So, you know, that's how I focus, you know, when I'm working with the agent. And when you refer a buyer to me, you know, my job is to get to know their entire story, personally and financially. And then get them expert financing advice so they can make a educated home financing decision on their, you know, on their financing, on their mortgage. So, you know, that's valuable, you know, and that's part of the experience, you know, great experience that you started with them. So that's, you know, product, like I said, products are great, service is great, but I come at it where I need to be coming up with strategies and advice to help you grow your business and help you build. That's most important.
Leonard,
And again, yep,
I'm sorry. Can I just interject if it's okay?
of course.
So, you know, I don't like to keep saying I'm new because I've been told that I'm not new anymore. But when, you know, I had several experiences working with a mortgage rep, and you mentioned, you know, finding out the products that me as an agent would need to help grow my business. So if I get a buyer that's maybe, like, I work with a lot of renters and I try to convert them. So what would be a, you know, like a catchy profile or summary I could say, well, I know Leonard and he offers this, this, and this. Because I mean, a lot of clients, I find that they have a preference. Sometimes working with banks, they feel that they don't get that personal, because they don't know the person.
Right.
Versus, you know, you just working with a big bank and, you know, you make a phone call and hopefully, you know, you could talk to someone. But what would I say as an agent to my client, like, you know, Leonard offers this, or how can you help me grow my business so that I can send you business?
Right. Well, like you just mentioned, so something we would sit down, if you tell me that your business consists of, hey, you're working with a lot of renters who are, you know, you're looking to buy. So what we want to do, a strategy, like I said, helping you with strategies. A strategy we will want to come up with is, hey, how can we show renters that it makes more sense to buy? Now, whether that's in educating them, we can set up a seminar, a virtual seminar, whether it's getting marketing material out, where we could do a co-branding mailing to them, to your list of renters. We could do a side-by-side comparison, like, hey, this is how much it costs to rent. This is what you're paying in rent. This is how much it costs to purchase a home. You know, to show them the advantages of, you know, getting out of that position where they are renting, and how and the changes it can become to them to buy. You know, we want to educate them and show them, like, you know, how, you know, why you'd be in a better position if you were to purchase. You know, that's that's like an example of a strategy we could come up with. As far as the personal side to touch, I mean, it is a big bank, but, you know, I run my own practice, my own business, like, you know, so I speak to I mean, I do have a team that helps me, and that is an advantage of working with a big bank. I have a lot of people that helps me get loans to the closing table. But my success comes from the personal touch. Of course, reaching out to customers, not only you, letting you know what's going on, but having systems set up where I'm reaching out to the customer all the time. You know, that's another advantage to big bank. There's systems in place for them. They can always know the status of their loan. But I take it upon myself to also speak to them all the time. They're not speaking to my assistant or processor or underwriter all the time. If you hand them off to me, I'm gonna take care of them and the loan personally. You know, I'm big on that too, taking care of the loan and the customer that you refer to.
So would you say you're available 24/7?
24/7, 365. Hey, I know I'm still a worker. I'm a worker. I know how it is. You know what I mean? I work when you work. You know, like I said, products and everything is not everything, but service, not everything. But I mean, I am a worker. Well, my phone is always with me. Everybody has my cell phone number, not my office number. I don't even think I give out my office number anymore. I don't even know. I don't remember what my office number is anymore. So everybody has.
What about products between 150 and 300, the lower end? Do Wells Fargo have products for those kind of guys, or besides FHA, do they have any type of down payment assistance program?
Yeah, so I mean, we do have FHA, of course, and we do have a 3% loan as well, a portfolio product. It's a conventional 3% down. Now, as far as grants, and you know, we accept the grants, any down payment assistance program. That usually you usually get that from a nonprofit or housing organization, and most of those we do accept. We did have one program in Essex County, but the money's pretty much ran out. So I think I have sent you some stuff months ago on that, Karen. But the money ran out. But that was one that we were actually sponsoring. That's one Wells Fargo had. But most of the time, you're getting them from a lot of, you know, whether it's the town or the county will have a down payment assistance program, and we'll accept those for their down payment or the closing costs, whatever the guidelines are. So yeah, we accept all those. And when that other program that we have opens back up, I'll let everybody know, and we can see if you get some of your buys in if they need it.
Low end buyers that, you know, can afford the 600 jumbo, do you have a lot of products where, you know, they have lower credit scores and the price point for them is lower? How, you know, how do you work with those clients?
Well, I mean, we have FHA product, and we have the 3% down product. The minimum credit score is 620. So that's even lower than, you know, what FHA has. And it's a less expensive product than FHA because it's a conforming conventional loan. So you don't have the upfront mortgage insurance. And it isn't, the monthly mortgage insurance isn't as expensive as you would see in an FHA loan. So that's a product we put them into as well.
I'm sorry, anybody else have questions? But I had another one. 203K.
Okay.
How does Wells Fargo, you know, work with 203K loans?
Well, actually, I started the business. I was a renovation specialist. We don't have that product anymore, actually.
Oh.
So yeah, we don't have the 203K renovation product, unfortunately. Most of my first few years in the business, that's all I did was that. But great product, but a lot of the banks, bigger banks, moved out of that product because of the risk. So unfortunately, we don't have that anymore.
Sorry. The one thing that I get the question, like when you sit down to discuss this, like, you know, before someone is pre-approved, you go through the pre-qualification. Now you said credit score 620, but lately I've been hearing it's higher than 640. Do you do a hard hit? Because then it's like, if nothing happens, then they got this inquiry on their credit, and you know, that can also drop their credit score. So are you able to do a soft hit to get an estimate of what their credit score would be between the three agencies, or you just automatically do a hard hit?
Right. Well, yeah, we do. When we run the credit, we have it where we're going to look at all three reporting bureaus. You know, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So when they get into pre-approval, I mean, there's times I'll do a consultation where if they know their credit score, you know, I'll give them some breakdown of numbers and what the cost is, depending on where they are in the process, how soon they're looking to buy. If they're looking down the line 6 to 9 months from now, you know, we could put together some numbers. If they have an idea what their credit score is, I mean, I could start to educate them on the process and, you know, run some numbers by them so they could get an idea of what their savings need to look like, what their monthly payment's going to look like, you know, what cost point they need to be looking at. But yeah, if they're ready to get pre-approval now, ready to actually start looking to get you a true pre-approval, a real pre-approval that's going to be worth something. Yeah, we run the credit and it'll be a hit with all 3 boroughs, credit reporting boroughs.
Guys, we're working with buyers after we speak with Leonard here today. So since that's going to be a focus on buyer paperwork, we have a mortgage rep here. Any questions before we jump into paperwork on what to do once you find that buyer?
For me, I know that, you know, I've had the exposure and experience, but I feel like as the buyer is walking through the process, I would like to also go through that process. So, you know, the 3 of us together knows what's going on. Like, it's an education for me too. So even though I wear the hat as an agent, I want to pretend I'm a buyer so that I can guide them. Normally I'll tell a buyer or a client, like, these are the general things you need to be mindful of, but you need to talk to a specialist. So I mean, I don't want to know your job or learn your job, but I think I want to be a little more educated in just knowing, like, just the things that you said, the products, what you offer, you know, your work ethics, and, you know, that things of that nature. And then I can pass them on to you. So how much should I know to talk about, like, what they need to do before I hand them over to you?
Well, I mean, it's all about what you feel comfortable knowing. I mean, I could sit down with you and we could, and again, that's part of helping you grow your business, educating you as well, not just the borrower, but the buyer, but you as well. So certain things that you want to know, where you feel comfortable when you're discussing with a potential buyer or even the seller, you know, telling them, you know, if you were to refer them over to me, you know, information that questions that they just may ask you off the bat, you know, just the basics. Again, you don't want to do my job. Your job is to sell homes. My job is to get the financing. So we want to focus on what we're good at. But, you know, yeah, I'm always letting you know the basic question. And we could talk about what are some of the questions you get on the regular. And so you could at least answer those before you.
Or a check-off list, or a check sheet, or a checklist, or something like that.
We'll go over, hey, Yolanda, what's some of the questions you hear all the time? Like, oh, it could be, hey, what can I put down? What's the minimum down payment? Do I have to have 20%? I could always let you know the answers to those. So at least you could tell them that. And then, hey, by the way, I work with Leonard Murphy, you know, he's a specialist, he's the expert on this. Let me give you his number, he can answer all your questions. Be as simple as that, a warm handoff like that. And again, the Edge has as much education as you want and you feel you need to get, I could give it to you. I have no problem with that. All right. It's all about the experience for your buyer. So, you know, they're happy with the all-around service you gave.
Guys, before you actually walk into any property, schedule any appointments, you really need to do your buyer consultation with your client, and you need to make sure that they're mortgage approved before you go out, before you put them in your car, before you meet them at any property. You want to put them in the hands of a mortgage lender so that you know when you walk into the property, like Yolanda showing one Sunday, already 3 days, 46 offers. Now, if your client loved that offer, they're not going to be able to, that house, they're not going to be able to compete because they haven't done the process of getting in with the mortgage rep to see what they can actually really afford. So do yourself a favor. Don't run around. You're not a taxi cab driver. Make sure they pre-approve before you go out in the field with your clients. And that's a service you don't charge for. You don't charge your clients to do that service for you.
No, it's 100% free.
Carlos, you could join us on Zoom if you want, but I'm on Zoom right now.
Okay. One tip, when you get that pre-approval, because sometimes they say I've already been pre-approved and they send a letter, like I had that experience, always check that expiration date because that's key too. And I had to have my client, you know, send me a up-to-date pre-approval. So, you know, like, again, you just have to pay attention to details. If you do get that pre-approval letter, just make sure that that date is valid, you know. Right or wrong.
That lasts for what, 2 months or 3 months?
That actually lasts for 120 days, so 4 months. Yeah. 4 months. And what I do, I mean, I usually stay in contact with the borrowers, so I have something set up where I know that their pre-approval letter is going to expire. So, you know, with that, usually just have to rerun the credit, update some documents. You know, as long as everything pretty much stays the same, it's just a formality to get the updated approval letter.
Along those lines, like if they need a renewal of their pre-approval, does that hit the credit again? If
Yeah, we do have to run the, yeah, if
You do
it's,
run
if
it
it's
again.
over 120 days, one part of updating the pre-approval letter is
Okay.
running the credit again, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions, guys?
Any other questions for me?
Some of the services that Linda has also done for me over the years is my pre-approvals, not pre-approvals, my open house information fact sheets. So that when, you know, the client walk into the open house, they see the house, they like the house, but how the 699,000 represent in my monthly expenses. He will give you a breakdown on 699 FHA, conventional 5%, conventional 10%, conventional 20%. So you have a chart that you can give out to the clients at the open house, showing if they was to put this much down, this is what their monthly gonna be. Because we live monthly, we don't live by a whole lump sum of 699. So we need to know what our monthly cost is, and he provide that service with the documents for us. And that's no charge for us. So no charge for our
All right,
documents,
so-
no charge to pre-approve and make sure we are, you know, going out with a valuable customer. It's actually even for our safety, because at least somebody know who this person is, and they got their credit information. They know where they live, so they know they not a serial killer, you know.
True, true.
So
Very
it's
true.
always important for us as realtors to protect ourselves on that and working with clients.
Yeah, and open house flyers, you can always give me a call and, you know, I have the, once I have the information on the property, I can put this together and put your picture or not your picture. You guys will just let me know your preference. I get that out to you.
Leonard, we talked about buyers and so forth, new first-time home buyers. Do you handle refinancing clients too? You
Oh, yes,
mentioned
yes,
sellers.
definitely. We could do refinance as well. Oh, sorry, the lights go off. We could do refinance as well. Definitely do refinances.
Guys, we'd like to thank Leonard for his time. Any
Thank you.
questions? He always is available. Leonard, if you could put your information in the chat,
Yes, I will,
that
definitely.
would be
Thank
great.
you.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you guys. Thank Karen. Thank you again. Greatly appreciate
Thank
it.
you, very
No
informative.
problem.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. See you guys soon.
So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to do paperwork today, working with the buyer. Now I'm gonna create a contact, because that's how I generally start. And I know we have a few people on here that's new. So I'm gonna create a contact. I'm gonna create an opportunity. So you see on command how to do that. And then once we do that, I'll get into the documents that you're gonna need. And then I'll show you how to upload those documents into command once you get them signed. And if we have time, I'll show you how to create the offer or the commission statement. So to create a contact is the little box with the picture frame. There's contacts. Gotta move you out the way. I think I'll put you up the top. Add a contact. Full name. Let's use Kylene today. Oliver. We're gonna use ko@gmail.com. Phone number. Go down. Lead source. Usually use that blank. Mark as a lead. I'm gonna add it to my sales pipe. And she is going to be a buyer. Buyer is there. If you don't have a tag, you can always create a tag. Then once we get that in, we're gonna hit create. Now that is created, her name is in my database. So I erase it, it'll always be there. I'm gonna do an opportunity now. When I click on opportunity, I'm gonna create an opportunity over on this right-hand side. Opportunity type, we're working with the buyer. Client, we just put in Kylene, so we're gonna find her and we're gonna select her. Opportunity name, if you know the name of the property that you're working with, you would put the name of the property as the opportunity name. In this case, let's do 25 Crescent. Estimated closing date, generally when you're working with a buyer, it takes at least 45 days. So we'll put an estimated closing date from today. We're gonna put the end of February. Time frame, 3 months. Commission, and you'll find your commission on your MLS printout sheet. So make sure you have that in front of you so you know what the commission payout is. And opportunity stage, if you just watching it or if you're actually nurturing it, and if you're actually working with it, it's hot. So we're gonna put it as hot. This is our opportunity that we created now. On this opportunity, I could change anything I want by checking off the pencil. So when I click the pencil, it'll open up again and it allowed me to add anything that I might have missed. So if Colleen was working with a co-buyer, I would be able to put the co-buyer there. If I needed to change the closing date, add the closing date, whatever I need to do. If I know her budget, budget is only, let's work with even numbers because it's easy for me to calculate in my head, 400,000, commission rate 2.5, finance, conventional or FHA, whichever you want. You just use the drop down and then you hit save. Now that side is complete. The property, again, we know the property address. We are all working in the United States, I hope. 25 Crescent. As I'm typing, it will come up. I select the one I want. Now, if it's apartment number, y'all make sure you put the apartments because if it's a building, it's only going to come up as the building name. Then you have to distinguish which apartment you're working with. So you just put the apartment in line number 2 and you hit save. So this part is complete. Now I need to go get my documents. How do I do that? Up top, you see there's details. There's buyer profile, and then there's documents. When I click on documents, it's going to ask me to start a transaction. Once I click this, once I make the transaction, it's going to say go to transaction. But when you're in the beginning, it's always start the transaction. So I'm going to start the transaction, and we're all using DocuSign, I hope. So make sure you switch over to DocuSign. If not, you will be paying for .loop after the 15th. So I'm going to select on DocuSign. It's going to ask me to sign in. And it's going to bring me to a room. So you was used to dealing with loops, now you're dealing with rooms. On the left-hand side up here, it says details. I want to go in and I want to add everybody that's associated with the details by editing. Once I hit edit, it's going to open up so that I can add all the fields that I need. I'm going to add the seller information. If it's 2 sellers, I'm going to make sure I add both sellers. I'm going to add the listing agent information. If it's 2 listing agents on the MLS, then it'll be listing agent 1, listing agent 2. I'm going to add the buyer information. And if it was 2 buyers, both buyer information. And then I'm going to add the buyer agent, which it would be myself. And if I'm working with Yolanda, then I'm going to add the second buyer agent right there. Once I add all this stuff on the right hand side, I'm going to my left hand and I'm going to add the address I'm working with. County, Hudson, United States, we all working in. City, Jersey City. State, New Jersey. If you don't know the year that the house was built and it's not on a tax record, don't stress it, just don't put it. You can select what the type is. It's a residential and it's attached. then you put in all your other details, the offer amount, earnest deposit. If you don't put it in here, when you get to the documents, you can actually fill it in from the documents on that side. Again, we know it's conventional. Offer date will be today or the date that you're putting it in. Earnest money, if you put it here, generally is $1,000 and then the second deposit. I usually don't put it on here. I update the actual contract to make sure my money is going in the right places. If you had a higher bid, you would put that information in from your initial information. But in this case, it's just one offer, so you don't have to worry about a higher bid. Closing details. This is just to keep track of everything in your command so that everything runs smoothly. You know when the contract was signed, when the seller signed it, when the deed was sent to the seller, the date that the deed was sent. And in this case, that's closing for us. So we don't even worry about those two. Preliminary settlement statement sent to the seller date. And Northern Jersey, our attorneys do our settlement. In Southern Jersey, the agents actually do their HUD statement. So we don't have to worry about that, thank goodness. If there was seller's concession, we really don't know the listing side commission, so don't fill that in. Only fill in your side of the commission, which your side of commission is on the MLS sheet. I don't have the MLS open, but I can open up one just to show you how your MLS sheet would look, so you know where to find your commission at. And 25 Crescent is right there. Your MLS information, BAC, buyer's agent, will be 2.5 minus 300. So that's where you're going to find your commission. If you need information about the other agent, click on their name and all their details will come up. Their office information, their phone numbers, everything that you would need to fill out that buyer wants that completely. Their license number, their office license number, that's all on here when you go look at the MLS sheet. Also on an MLS, when you're in there, you want to get other documents. So you want to make sure you pick up your lead from here and your COVID that your buyer is going to have to sign from the MLS. And then you dump them into your command. So that's where we will fill out the 2.5 for our buyer side commission minus the 300.
Karen, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
When you said to take the documents like the lead form and stuff and dump them into command, is that quick to show me how to do that?
So I'm going to download
Just download it and then upload it back into command?
it. Yep. So I want to
Sorry.
name it.
I thought there was some direct way that I didn't know about. All right. No, I can do that. I just thought there was some direct way.
All right. Yeah, no. When I get to that when I finish this and get over there, I'll show you how to dump it in.
Oh.
So everybody would know. All right. Oh, see, now I open up where it says go to transaction. So remember before it says started, so now I gotta go back to the transaction. And I was on details. And we was at the buyer side commission.
Karen, I have a question. Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So in terms of the seller information, how much of the seller information we need to put in? Is the name enough if we don't know
Just
that?
pretty much just their name. Sometimes the tax record may have where they live in. Sometimes it might have a PO box. Sometimes it might be the same house that's vacant, so we know they're not living there. So just pretty much their name is good enough.
So name is good enough.
Correct, because we don't
Okay.
have their other information.
Okay, thank you.
Annual taxes, everybody know how to go to Paragon and get your taxes, tax record, New Jersey tax record. We're gonna search by street, Hudson County, if you're working in that county, Jersey City. C is for Crescent, find Crescent page. Oh, who knew Jersey City has so many streets that start with C? Crescent Avenue, we know unit is 25, so we'll look for 25. And pretty much on your tax record is where you're gonna find your information. Lily Scales, it says she lived at 25 Crescent Avenue. Lily live in Alabama. So that's what I mean. Sometimes it will have there and you know they don't live there. So you don't have to put their information, just get their name off of here. Also on the tax record, you're gonna need the lot and the block. You may need the land size. You're definitely gonna need the tax amount, square footage. Generally matters with condos. Here is 2-story brick. Can't remember what the T means. Basement detached, 1 unit with heat. I think I gave y'all this chart a few months ago, but if you need the chart again, hit me up with a text message with your email and I'll send it to you, your email directly. So on here, we was looking for the taxes. Taxes in this case is 4836. Go back to our command, put that in. 43 or 4636, right? Lot size was 14.33 by 71.39. I'm just going to copy and paste. That's a lot to remember. Put that in there. Square footage, it did say square footage, but generally with houses, I don't worry about the square footage. Bedrooms, it's a total of 5 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. And you can look at your MLS sheet again. And your MLS sheet will give you those details. Five bedrooms, 1.5 bath. Then you can add 5 plus 1 and 1 is 7 rooms total. And then you get that other line for total amount of rooms. Garage space is 0. Then once you save all that information, now you can begin with your documents. You can move over to your documents, and how do we add the documents to my empty room? I have to hit plus, and remember when we said just dump them in? When I take the ones from the computer, I'm just going to take the ones for the lead or the COVID, add it, and now it becomes part of my room. I can get the signature when I'm ready to get signatures. How do I get the other documents? I go to DocuSign Forms. It's going to come up with 2 things. It's going to come up with the library, and it's going to come up with group. So what we want is Marcusson to put in groups so that it makes it easy for you when you go get your documents, what you need and what's required. So buy a transaction packet is what we're working with. But if you was working with the listing, it have different MLSs, Central, Garden State, Hudson, go all the way down to Monmouth, New Jersey, which is Bergen. If you need a KW paperwork, that's on onboarding. If you was a New York agent and you need New York listing paperwork, that's there. If you need the rental transaction paperwork, that's right there. So everything, once we click on the group, is going to bring you to the documents that you actually need and require for compliance. And then it's going to open up other documents that you may need to bring in. So if you're working with the FHA client, you would need to bring in all the documents referring to FHA. I very rarely suggest doing an offer to purchase, because if your offer is accepted, you want that seller to be able to sign immediately. But if you do an offer to purchase, now you got to go back, create a whole new contract to get signatures when somebody else, it's a time game right now. You don't want nobody coming. You want those signatures as soon as possible, and you want to get an attorney reviewing out as soon as possible. If you just do an offer to purchase, you're wasting time, because, seller's going to sign an offer to purchase, but you still got to prepare for a contract for the attorney. So just stop being lazy and prepare your contract. Protect Your Family from Lead. You want to make sure they get that booklet because that's required by law that they have it. If you're working in its 3 or more units, if you're doing a seller's concession on there, you want to pick up the other ones that are addendums to the contract that you may sign off. Coronavirus, you want to pick that up. And again, we're exclusive buyer agency. Remember, do not take the one with the rebate because I don't want you giving up any of your commission or any of Keller Williams commission. So please refrain from doing a rebate to your buyers. Then you're going to hit add, and it's going to come all into my room. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on each one, and I'm going to fill out the information that I need to fill out on each one. So this one is not complete. So what I'm going to do, I just wanted to show you up to this part, how to do it. I'm going to go look at an actual document that is complete so that we can go over it. Just give me 1 minute while I pull up another opportunity. That's already completed. Another buyer. Let's go with Freddie. Documents. Remember, go to transaction because the transaction was already started. We're in our room. Now remember when I told you the details? And you'll see how I only know the seller's first name. I don't have any other information. I have the listing agent information, took that all off the MLS. Then I have first buyer information, second buyer information, all my information. Now, every time I look at each and every document, all my stuff is going to carry over to that next document. So when I go to documents and I pulled everything into my room, everything is there. So when I click on it, we're going to go over each document now so you know what to fill in. Hold harmless. Let's go on the ones that I completed. We'll go on the check ones. So you put the date in, put the address in, and they sign it. And I'll show you how to get to signing it. Right now, we're going to go through all the lines pretty much that needs to be filled out. And then I'll go and click on one and do a sample so you can see how to actually get the signature and how it come back. I put the MLS in my room because when you go to compliance, they're going to want to see the MLS sheet. So I just put it in from the beginning so I know when it closes, I also update it. Remember we said pick up the lead and we dropped it into our room. So you get them to sign the lead. And you don't want your buyer to sign a blank lead. So you want to make sure you pull one where it says, you know, whether they have reports, whether they don't have reports, and that they sign it and issue, that the listing agent signed it. Now you have your buyer sign it and you would sign it as the selling agent, buyer's agent. I dropped the tax record in. Remember, I put in a tax record. Well, I didn't, I only put the letter in, but I normally put the tax record in, whether I'm listing it or whether I'm buying it, because I'm going to refer back to it for information that I may need. Now, this one had a swimming pool, and generally we don't deal with swimming pools in Hudson County too much. So I had to make sure, since I clicked it on the contract, that I actually put the addendum in for the swimming pool. Now, next document is the consumer information statement. When you're doing your buyer's consultation, you can actually get this one pre-signed so that they know before you're going out with them to take them on any property. how you will be working with them. Sorry. Whether you will be working with them as a buyer agent or disclosed dual agent. So what's the difference? Do anybody know between a buyer agent and a disclosed dual agent? Okay, so a buyer agent, I can tell anything and everything that I find out about the property. Once I become a disclosed dual agent, meaning I've entered a property that is either listed by Keller Williams through myself or by one of my fellow workers, as long as it's Keller Williams, Jersey City, City Life. So that's our Bayonne office and our Jersey City office. If it's a property listed by one of our offices, then I'm automatically a disclosed dual agent, which means I can't give one party any unfair leverage over the other party. So most open houses we doing, we're disclosed dual agents when they come in. Pretty much any material defect to the property, we must disclose. Any reason why the seller's selling is none of their business. Any reason why the buyer's buying is none of their business. Anything that hinders the purchase of that sale, buyer lose their job, then that becomes business because that affects the ability to purchase the house. But as a buyer agent, it's Brand X, it's even Keller Williams Hoboken, Keller Williams Maplewood. I'm just a buyer agent. Any information that agent gives me that I can help my buyer with, that's my job to make sure I give all that information to the buyer. Any questions with disclosed dual agent and seller agent and how I explain that to your buyers? Okay, so you want them to sign right here. It says, I, that's you, the agent. So this is Karen Sims, and then you're gonna put what you're acting as. When you first go out with them, you don't know if you're going to be a buyer agent or a disclosed dual agent. So you click on buyer agent, disclosed dual agent if the opportunity arises. And likewise, if you're working with the seller, at that moment in time, you're a seller agent right there. But as soon as you put it on the market, if the opportunity arises, you're a disclosed dual agent. So you just click off seller agent, disclosed dual agent. In this case, we're working with the buyer, so we're clicking off the middle one. If you're writing up a contract only for a property that you know that is not a KW, then you can put buyer agent only. Next document is, this one was an FHA. So if you're dealing with the FHA buyer, you have to make sure that you fill out the FHA addendum. The price point is the total price of the property that you're purchasing, the address, their name, and have them sign. And then you as the real estate agent will sign, the other agent also signs. So this one gets sent to the seller. The CIS is your file that doesn't get sent to the seller. Gravity vetted attorney list. These are attorneys that work with Gravity Title. Next week, we are hoping to have Laura Fisher in from this list. If you read in some of the previous ones, we had Marty Brodsky in, we had Linda Hochstein in. We're also going to have the Shirami team, which consists of 3 people coming up. And then we're going to have Marty back again speaking on short sales as we go further into February. So make sure you're tuning in. But these are attorneys that we work with that's been vetted throughout title company that you can use and refer. Of course, they can pick any real estate attorney they want that's licensed in the state of New Jersey. We are responsible for our commission bill, but I don't do this until towards the very end when the attorneys ask for the commission bill, but I want you to see it so that you know that you as the agent are responsible for filling it out. Sale price, the commission price, I think he was only paying 2%, but again, you would find that on the MLS. Well, I'll have to look that one up. But you would find that commission, if it's 2%, then you put 2% and it's $386,250. This had a seller's concession in it. So you got to minus out that seller's concession. In this case, that seller's the list price is only $375. The offer price is only $375. So you're only getting paid 2% of $375, not $386,250. So your 2% will equal out to the $7,500 on that one. And then the listing fee, if the listing fee was 200, you put your 200 right there, and then you put the amount that is due for you as the real estate agent. So that would be 7,500 minus the 2, you will only be getting 7,300. And you can put your percentage signs. I'm being a little bit lazy here. Put your brackets in. That would be 7,500. And 2% minus if you was doing if it was plus, if you was the listing agent, it would be plus. In this case, you're not the listing agent, you're the buyer agent, so it's always minus. And then that would be your 7,300. You would sign as the agent. I don't have to sign that. And again, you're filling the top information. You already have the buyer, the seller, from the contract and the property, city, state, and zip. You would save that. Remember, I also said these are affiliates. Gravity Title is the only one that we're dealing with right now. I'm not sure how long we'll be dealing with Gravity Title, but it's just a disclosure to let them know that we have other services besides real estate. Protect Your Family from Lead brochure. So it just comes back to show that you sent it to them. It's not a signature one, but it just shows when it comes back into your system that you sent it. So that's your proof that you sent it. Remember, we said it was FHA, so any addendums involving FHA will get signed. In this case, they would just sign that one. And again, the price point is what's important on here, and signatures. Next document is seller's concession. Remember, we spoke about seller's concession. It was $386,250, but in reality, they borrowed $11,250 towards their towards their closing costs. So this is just the addendum to the contract that $1,100 and $250 is going toward their seller's concession, and they're going to sign that one as well. Coronavirus. We're just dealing with this, now because of COVID. Before, we didn't have these addendums. So this one pretty much states, this gives them the right to get out of the contract. 30 days if they should have circumstances that they can't proceed or restrictions because of COVID, that we'll give them 30 additional days from the closing date to try to close. If they cannot close, this here second box gives them the option to actually cancel the contract and get their deposit back. Now with COVID, it really falls under HIPAA. We can't ask them to show proof that they got COVID. We can't. So if they sign this, they taking, they saying, okay, we might get 90 days into the closing, 60 days plus another 30, 90 days. And now I got to put my property back on the house because the person had COVID, or lost their job for COVID. And, nothing much that you can do, just remarket the house to another buyer. Some attorneys will cancel this because it's part of the addendum to the contract. Let that be on attorneys. You as the agent just have to present it and get it signed. All right. I'm gonna do the contract to sale last because that's where most of the details are. Buyer agency agreement. This is another agreement that you're gonna get signed during your buyer's consultation. So that they know that they're working with you, that they have no other relationship with another agent, that this agreement is going to be from now until the 30th of April of this year, that if you find them something that's not on the MLS, that they're going to pay you 2.5%, and that 30 days once this agreement is expired, as long as you showed them something, that they will come back to you for that same property after April 2021. Now, this contract can easily be canceled by them just sending you an email, a letter, or anything saying, I no longer wish to work with you as an exclusive buyer agency agreement. In our exclusive buyer agency agreement, this letter hereby cancels that. But when we're going out with them, we want some type of protection that we're going to get paid for our time and efforts. And that's the closest thing that we're going to get. Informed consent to do an agency. You want this signed because, again, chances are you're listing your lead. So we are going to work with both sides most of the time on our transactions. So we want to let them know that they're giving us permission to represent them on both sides of the transaction. 18 years of real estate, I've only had one seller who kicked back and said, absolutely no, I want you to represent me and everything. And that just happened last year. I have a lot of investors that will say, no, I work with multiple buyers. I'm not signing that. So what I may be able to do with some of those investors is put it specifically to a property. And then I'll outline the properties that we're working with. This way they know if it's this property, this property, this property, you're going to work with me. And you can add a text to all this, to these documents so that they can see it's only you being exclusive to the properties that you actually showed them. And if they push back and don't want to sign it, and they're a valuable client, don't push it. Take them out, show them. You just don't have any protection, but they're not going to sign it. So don't get them aggravated. Most investors do not want to sign that. Now, another document that you're going to sign before you go out with your clients, and again, this is all due to coronavirus. You're going to sign the hold harmless. Some of the agencies have it already uploaded in the MLS. Some will send it to you when you make your appointment. Some are lazy and you have to go in and create your own. Either which way, what I did with this client, I had a blank one and I would just fill in the addresses as we came across what we want to do. So I had them sign a blank one. I printed multiple. We have 5 properties to show. Behind each property, I put the address of the properties we were going in so that I will have the record. This pretty much states that the buyer is not going to sue you as the agent, is not going to sue KW as the brokerage if during our showings they come in contact with COVID virus. They're not going to sue us. So please make sure you get that signed. I don't want to be sued. And if you get sued, remember, I'm your broker, I get sued. So avoid suit cases for us. Wire fraud. As agents, we don't deal with wires. We do not deal with wires at all. We don't give wire information. We send in this disclosure to let you know up front, we're not working with any wires. Therefore, if you get an email that seems like it comes from Karen Sims, by no means did Karen Sims send you any wire instructions, because I already told you I would never do that, and you already signed my disclosures that I wouldn't do that. So therefore, if they did send their money and it did get caught by a wire and it was somebody that intercepted my email, I'm not responsible because I have this signed. So make sure you get your wire signed. I put their pre-approval in my documents. This way it's easy access. I'm not going to do the emails. I can go just close through here. Now, here's the meat and potatoes, your contract. That's really what the seller want to see. They don't care about all the other addendums. They want to see the numbers and what's going on with the contract. So this is notice, opinion 26, which is the first page of the contract, and it shows who you represent. In this case, I represent the buyer, not the seller. They sign that. I sign that. Who was it prepared by? It was prepared by me, Karen Sims. I'm sure you can see that. Prepared by Karen Sims. So if you're preparing it, it's your name. That's the agent. remember, when we put their information in, it's gonna automatically come over. So their name came over to all those documents, the address came into all those documents, so their names came up. The seller name, remember, I put the details with the seller name, her name came up. The property address that I'm working with came up. Now I had to go back and white out Elizabeth and Clifton because those were the property areas that we were looking at. So the computer brought all that over. So if that's in the computer, what areas you're looking in, make sure that you take it out before you write your contract. So what I did, I printed the page, wired it out, and sent it over back to the listing agent. Price of the property, $386,250. They're FHA, so they're putting 3.5% down. So I broke it up in 2 payments. We never take, I won't say never, but we don't take the 1,000 good faith deposit. We just do additional deposit, and generally that additional deposit is going to be made out to the seller's attorney. So 10 days after the attorney review, we'll send it to the seller's attorney trust account. How do I get those numbers? It's simple math. 386,250 times 0.035 will give me a number. If anybody have their calculator open, if not, I'll do it. 386,250 times 0.035, because that's FHA, which will put me at $13,518.75. So I want my client, they're putting less than list price. So I want them still to try to be a little bit attractive. So I don't want to just give a little bit of money, but I don't want to give all their money. So I break that $13,000 into 2 payments. After attorney review, they're giving $5,518.75. After attorney, once we get ready to close, they're bringing the balance of their deposit, which will be the $8,000. So when you add those 2 numbers together, the 55,1875 plus the 8,000 give you the 13,518.75 minus the 386,250 gives me the amount that they actually taking for mortgage, which is 372,731.25. If I add all 3 of these together, it should equal my 386,250. So I know that's a lot of numbers, but it's, again, 386,250 times their down payment. So if their down payment was 5%, it'd be different. If it was 10%, it'd be a little bit higher. If it was 20%, it'd be double. So in this case, it's only 3.5%. So 3.5%, I broke it down to 2 numbers, what they got to bring after attorney review to the seller's attorney and what they got to bring at closing. And then that amount minus the total deposit will give me the amount that they are taking for their mortgage. Additional deposit NA, because remember, I didn't do initial deposit, so that's going to be not applicable. Additional deposit will be the 10 days after attorney review. So that $5,518.75, 10 days after attorney review concludes, have to go to that seller's attorney, which is here, seller's attorney trust account.
Karen, can I ask a quick question about the earnest money deposit?
Sure.
So I know that you said that you, like, they put down $1,000 initially with their offer, but you just didn't segregate it on the paperwork. But when they do that, when they give that initial check, don't we have to keep a record of that somewhere? Or
So
it's just
if they put that $1,000, we need that check in hand. So you
right?
can't put $1,000 and be like, you know, I got $1,000 good faith deposit and don't have their check, because that's
Of
actually a
course.
lie.
Right.
So,
No, you can't put that.
Yeah. So and Keller Williams do not collect $1,000. And at that point in time, we might not know who the seller attorney is. So we don't want them having $1,000 out there that's payable to nobody that no one's holding.
Okay. So what would you do with that $1,000 then? Nothing. Don't accept. I guess I'm a little confused here.
I won't accept it. We put in our deposit
After attorney review.
Yeah. And if I
that's it.
have to do $1,000 and I know the buyer's attorney, I can have them make the check payable to the buyer's attorney. So say if
Okay.
I was going to use Marty Roski, I said, make a check payable for Marty for $1,000. And then instead of 55, this is going to be 4518.
Okay,
So that my
okay.
numbers still all match up. Or if I give the 1,000 here and the 55 here, then I'm gonna take that 1,000 off from here,
Sure.
so that when I add it all up, it's still equal to 386,250.
But in general practice, you usually wait until after attorney review for that.
Correct.
Okay.
And this might have started about 4 years ago. We stopped collecting that $1,000 because what was happening, we get to the closing and forgot about that $1,000. So it was sitting in
Okay.
somebody's escrow account. And then we had to figure out, oh no, my company don't have it. Do your company have it? Do the attorney have it? Who got
Okay.
the $1,000? And that $1,000 sometimes get messed up because the mortgage lender has to see all this money come out of that client's thing. And if somebody just holding it in their folder because they forgot to turn it in, you just screwed up their mortgage now. So yeah. we
Okay,
stopped
so you
collecting
just
that 1,000
notate
off.
the earnest money deposit as part of the additional deposit, and then you just submit the offer like that, and then they do it after attorney review.
Yeah, after attorney review, this whole 5518 will be done.
Okay, okay, thanks.
And mostly everybody in the industry is doing it, so we're not the only ones. Okay, so again, principal amount, I should have carried over the 372, 731.25 as the principal amount. It's FHA. In this case, it was doing a 203K on top of that, 30 years, and this one would be based on a 30-year schedule. 30 days generally from the date you write the contract, you can get your mortgage commitment. And then generally 2 weeks after that, you can go to your closing. So I put the closing approximately to 26. So when you add all your days, your first 30, before you get your mortgage commitment is 30, plus another 2 weeks, 15 will equal your 45. Most mortgages could be done between 45 and 60 days. And then again, remember, the attorney can always adjust the dates, especially if you get an attorney review later. On the MLS, you need to, let's see, my MLS still open, yes. So on here, it'll tell you what's included, and it just say oven, range, gas. Now, because we were in the house, the seller was like, you can get the washer and dryer for both units, you can get the refrigerator, you can get the backyard items. I don't put the furniture pretty much. Mortgage company is not into buying furniture. So I just put backyard items, not specific, the table, the chairs, the pool, this and that. Because the more I put down in there, the more the mortgage and appraiser may say, we're not paying for that, and I'll discount your thing. So don't put furniture on there. Do addendum if you have to put a line by line item of different furniture items that's included. But in this case, wash and dryer, both units, stove. And that's because the seller said it. Otherwise, I would just go by what's on the MLS. If there's anything excluded, in this case, we don't want your personal property, so we're going to exclude that. Municipal assessments, if you know one or if the seller has any knowledge, generally on houses that doesn't happen. On condos, sometimes there are like 207 Bowers, there's a 10,000, so seller has knowledge that there's an assessment. Also, the certificate of occupancy is 1.5% if left blank. So generally on a single family house, you're looking somewhere around 250. Two family, anywhere from 350 to 500. So in this case, I should have put 250 as a single family. Actually, that was a two family. Excuse me, so I should have put 500 right there. But the attorneys will adjust it if it's blank. Again, there are initials on the bottom of each document. But whether it's a two family, or one family, three family, a condo, make sure you add that. If there's tenants, if it's applicable or not applicable, put that there. If you could get the information from the agent about the tenant information and terms, that would be helpful for the attorney. Lead base is applicable. Remember, we took it from the MLS, we downloaded it, so we check that box. And this contract will be voided and revised by the attorney. I'm giving them 2 days to get it back to us with the response. Sorry, my throat. Okay. We don't do point of entry systems. Yolanda, you can take over.
You got water, Cameron? Okay, so as Cameron, item 14, line 246, number 14, point of entry treatment system. That's non-applicable. As Karen said, we don't do that. Same thing with the cesspool requirements. That's usually, most of the time, not applicable. And I get, would this include oil tanks and so forth?
Not this part. I'll go to the next part. The inspections, well.
Okay, this is the for the inspection. When the client has an inspection, normally it's within 10 days. So you will fill this out where Karen has within 10 days. If left blank, it will be 14, but we want it back sooner than later. So 10 is a reasonable time. Always get their signatures on everything. This part, go back up. Oh, you're controlling the screen. Same thing here, 10 days. And all this is information.
Like Megan's Law.
Right. The Megan's Law is we're letting them know that it's their responsibility to do a research on the area, the neighborhood. We don't make any suggestions about crime rate, the neighborhood, or anything of that matter in this protection. So that's left up to them to do that.
They can get that after they close on a property from the fire department.
Actually, do they have to wait until, like, if they're interested in a certain area, couldn't they get this information up front?
They have to wait until after they close, and then that they can go to the police department, and the police department show their deed, and the police department will give it to them for their area.
Okay.
If there's anyone there. Now the internet has anything.
Right.
You're not going there and showing them, but you know, I say I can't tell you, but the internet has everything.
That's true.
All right, I
Okay.
think I can.
Okay. I think I need water.
So you're gonna do a walkthrough. The property needs to always make sure that it's spoon swept clean for closing, but I suggest you do 2 walkthroughs if there's issues with inspections. So if you had inspection issues that need to be cleared up, you want to do a walkthrough, say 10 days before closing, 7 to 10 days before closing, and then you do that final walkthrough the day of closing. What happens if you do the walkthrough the day of the closing and they didn't do, and now you fighting over money, and that money go over a certain percentage, and that has to be adjusted on a HUD, it will go back to underwriting, and underwriting has to give them 3 days to make those adjustments. So if you have a client that already had their moving truck scheduled and paid for, have to be out their unit, someone else is coming in their unit behind them, and now you arguing over, you know, $2,000, uh, and it has to go back to underwriting. Everything just got screwed up because you didn't do the walkthrough ahead of time because you knew that they were supposed to fix something. If you catch it within that 10 days, they can adjust it on the HUD. But if you wait to the day of closing for them to adjust it on the HUD, there's going to be a real issue and they're going to look at you as the problem. So try to do 2 walkthroughs, one 7 to 10 days before, especially if you know there's issues. If there's no issues, then the day of closing will be fine. I never do it the night of. Here's what happened with me. We did the walkthrough the night before the closing. They went to the closing. They went back to the property after closing. Everybody got their money. We all happy. They went back to the closing afterwards. The basement had water all in it. What happened when they, thank goodness it was just something small, but when they disconnected the washing machine, there was still water and all that water came out onto the floor. So it wasn't nothing really serious, but the initial shock was, Karen, there's water in the basement. So we just want to make sure now, from now on, unless it's a condo, I truly don't do the walkthrough the night before. I do everything the day of closing. Because if anything changed and they went to the closing, they're now responsible for it. And when you at that walkthrough, let them turn on anything. Let them turn on the lights and check it. And it should be 15 minutes. They check the lights, they check the stove, they run the water, look underneath the sink, make sure nothing's leaking, flush the toilet, make sure it's not stopped up, run a tub, make sure it's going down, make sure if there was anything, you know, that was supposed to be fixed, got fixed, and you out. A walkthrough should not be no 45, an hour later, hour and a half later, and you still at a property. That is not a walkthrough. We're not coming to take measurements for no windows or anything like that. We're going in to make sure that the property is in the condition that it was supposed to be from the home inspection. And when they moved out, that they didn't leave no gaping holes, or when they removed their rug, there's no big old pool of water under there from the door where he done pissed all in the carpet and nobody ever saw it. So those are the things that you're looking for on a walkthrough. Let them do it, because if you turn it on and it break, it's your fault. Don't touch nothing. Open the door and explain to them and walk with them what needs to be done. If there's something that needs to be done, take a picture, send it to the attorneys so the attorneys are aware what's going on before you get to that closing table. So again, we're a buyer agent. The information came from the other agency. They are a seller's agent, or their information. Remember, I showed you where their license number is, or your information, KW, where our license information is, the amount we getting paid. We don't know this, so per listing agreement will automatically come up. So don't feel because you getting 2%, they getting 2%. Don't ever put a listing agent information in there unless you want to get rid. Disclosure that buyer or seller is a real estate license, not applicable. If it was, it would be on the MLS. I'm sorry, y'all, with my throat. Remember, we talked about the addendums. We did the coronavirus, we did the FHA, we did the leg, we did the seller's concession, and we did the swimming pool. So if anything else applied and you had this addendum checked on here, you have to make sure you had the documents, and we had the documents for everything that we checked. Remember, I said there was a seller's concession. So this is the language I basically use. Seller's contribution to our actual closing costs, prepaid expenses, and points up to $11,250 or 3%. Why do I put up to? Because if it comes to their closing costs only come to $10,000, that additional $1,250, it wouldn't go back to the buyer, it will go to the seller. So up to means if it comes anything below that, that money will revert back to the mortgage, and the mortgage will be lower. It won't go to the seller, and they wouldn't be giving the seller actual $1,250 or whatever amount. And then so that the seller will know and the listing agent will know that they're not getting 386, 250, I spell it out, sell it to net 375. And then because this was 203K financing, I put 203K FHA financing will apply. And then also have them sign that. So that's the part covering the actual contract. Any questions on the actual contract? Remember, this whole contract that you filled in, the attorney is going to automatically disapprove the contract, but will approve it based on the writer terms, and then they will put our contract into a writer to the other attorney.
I guess the one thing with the attorney review, we know is usually it can be up to 3 days. And with the market being so hot, a quick turnaround within 24 hours. Is that something, I mean, I know 3 of them we use, but is that something possible? I know you put 2 days, you would like to get it back from attorney review. Is it possible within a day?
So that 2 days was for the agent to present your offer, and this offer is good for 2 days.
Oh,
You can
okay.
put in 3 days, you could put in 1 day. I find that when you put in, you're giving them only 24 hours or 1 day, they get a little attitudes. So you never want to tell the buyer you got 24 hours or this offer is off the table. They're like, chick, I got like 5 offers. I don't care about your one. But you know, I put 2 days, but if I left it blank, they got 3 days to tell me. That's my courtesy asking them. Once I present to the seller, once you present as a buyer agent to me as a listing agent, I have 24 hours to turn that transaction into the seller. The seller has no time limit to give me a response. So when I use this and I say this offer is good for 1 day or 2 days, I'm kind of pushing them to give me an answer. But if in a hot market like this, they don't care about me. So that's why I got the 2 days there. But with attorney review, we ask, generally attorney review is 3 days. You have some attorneys that you say, listen, Marty, hot property, I need to be out of attorney review as soon as possible. Marty may put a writer in with your contract so that not only are you submitting your offer, but you're submitting your contract subject to attorney review being concluded pretty much. That's not just reviewing it. Most attorneys not going to do that. But if you say, you know, you put in a contract, you say, Linda, it's hot, please hurry up and get me out. She will do her best to get you out before the 3 days, or most attorneys will. But Marty is the only one that I know will put an attorney writer up front with your contract that it's been reviewed, subject to your attorney just reviewing it and conclude attorney review. Anything else on the contract side? I'm going to go and I'm going to show you, once we have all those documents completed, what's next. We have to, few things. We have to be in compliance. So we need to make sure that we line all those documents up that are signed by adding them to each fill. When you add, you can add from manually or you can add from DocuSign. DocuSign is going to pull up everything that you put in your room. So if I'm looking for the contract, then I'll just go to NJAR, contract to sale, and I'll pick the one that's signed. I'll sign it and I'll add it, and then it comes. And I'm going to do that for each and every last document. And once I hit each and every last document that's required, and then you have some that's conditionally required, and then you have some that you can just add yourself that might not be there, I'm going to hit submit to MC, which is our market center. We have a third-party compliance that will review all my documents, make sure I got my signatures, and if it's good, it would tell me approved. If it's not, it would tell me rejected. And I got to do that for each and every part of the transaction, under contract and closed. Now, if I'm both parties, if I'm representing the seller and the buyer, I got to do it twice. I got to do on the buyer side, which we're working with the buyer today, but I also have to do on the listing side. On the listing side, I'm going to have one that says listing paperwork, under contract, and closed. So that means the same documents that I put under contract for the buyer, I got to put under contract for the seller. Same items I put for closed for the buyer, I got to put closed for the seller. The only difference with the listing is I got the listing paperwork with the MLS and all those disclosures for the seller that I will have to put for the seller part. Once I put that in, has nothing to do with me requesting the commission. I have to then go and create an offer, add the offer, initial offer, fill out all the details for my offer, because you see right here, the commission is not open. And so I put the offer in. Once I put the offer in and follow the prompts to put the offer in, then I can actually request the commission. So let me go look at a document that I already requested. 117, I should have requested the commission offer already. This way I'll show you what the offer looked like. So the offer is 185. Earnest money, the money he put down, the closing date, and it was accepted. Once it's accepted, it opened up commissions, and then I'm able to put in and edit all the information that I need. Now it's not gonna let me click it on because I already did this already, but it's gonna give me my breakdown. It was 185, the commission 3.5%, the total commission. I didn't have to share it, so it's my whole unit. Closing date supposed to be 1/8, but it's tomorrow hopefully or Friday.
Where we hanging out at?
TGI Fridays, right? And then total commission, the amount I have to pay the office, and then the amount that I will get, I will hit submit. And when I hit that submit button, Patricia gets this side, and Patricia will approve the transaction on my end. And if there's anything, she would call me and say, Karen, or email me and say, I need this or that. Going back to the document side, if there's something that you couldn't get or wasn't approved, let me see. That's on the listing side. See how mine's all say approved, approved, approved. So now when Patricia gets that check and I bring a check in, I don't have to do anything. Well, yeah, I do, because now I have to finish off the inspection report, proof of funds, all that stuff, to make sure that my under contract is complete, because the under contract is not complete yet. And then I have to switch to close. I don't have a KW commission yet. I can put the commission statement in because I did have that. Matter of fact, I just did that today, so we can do that. I already showed you how that commission statement looked. Assign it. But then I still have to put the HUD in. When I get the HUD tomorrow, I have to go in, change it in MLS, make sure it's closed. Then I have to add the MLS. I got the smoke certificate. I got to put that in there. And then I can hit submit to MC. And then once my listing is approved, my under contract state's approved, my close date approved, everything's been submitted. I already created my commission statement. So Patricia's gonna take that check, read the commission statement, see that all my documents have been approved, and say, Karen, you can pick up your check. Well, I get ACH, so I don't pick up a check. But she, I have my money within 24 to 48 hours if I did everything correctly up front ahead of time. The commission, we want you to submit that soon as you finish that 3-day attorney review and that contract is solid, you can submit your commission. Even if your documents, as you see, have not been all approved, you put the commission request in, because remember, we're a month-to-month company. So we want to see what's going on from month to month, but we wouldn't know that if you didn't submit your commissions. And if you wait until the last minute, we think we're broke when really, in reality, everybody's working. So make sure you submit your commissions. This help Patricia keep track of what we're doing months out. And that pretty much covers everything. Once you get your check from working with your buyer. Let me hit stop share. And let me know if you have any questions.
It was very informative, and it doesn't matter how many times we do a contract or if I've done one, you know, my biggest dilemma, right? But yeah, I mean, it's like, is this something, I know you taught me in the very beginning, read that contract. Don't just look at the fill lines like, okay, put 2, put 10. Read the contract so you can understand it, because again, Karen being my mentor, you know, she taught me from the ground up. You know, also send that to your clients in advance, like when you do the buyer's consultation, so that they can be familiar with it and know what to expect. So, I mean, it's always valuable information when it comes to Boss Lady. I'm glad I got you on my side.
Ahmad, you good? Because I know you're writing up some contracts over there.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you. It was very insightful. Thank you.
All right. That's everything with your open house this weekend.
Yes.
So if y'all have any other questions, y'all know how to get me. I'm available through text, email, call, Zoom. I do it all.
Thank
Edward,
you.
Karen.
send me a text if you can join me in your line this Sunday. I appreciate that. And Sarah, Jay, thank you for joining. Johanna, Dell, let me know if y'all need anything. I got you. All
Right.
I
Everybody
think
enjoy the
somebody
rest
put
of the-
something in the chat box, Karen.
Stella said thank you.
No, could you do a walkthrough with the seller's agent?
We'll walk through with the seller's agent. You are the seller's agent.
I guess if you was the buyer's agent, then the question says,
listing agent.
Like, could the seller's agent be there when the buyers do their walkthrough?
Yeah. If they want to, generally they're not, because you know they're not representing the buyer. But sometimes the seller may say, "You go there to represent me." Sometimes the seller may want the buyer's agent to be there with home inspections. Again, they just there to watch. They're not there to input or have any influence over your buyer or anything. They should stay in the background and be quiet. But yeah, they can go. Most agents are not wasting their time going to do a walkthrough. They just go and finding the next buyer and the next deal. They're not doing it. You have some of those agents that will constantly be there, but no, they don't come. Trust me, I don't go. Unless I'm representing the buyer. If I'm representing the buyer, I go. But if I'm not, nope, not my job.
Karen, how hectic could it be? I know, you know, with a closing date is, you know, sometimes they try to make it in the afternoon, but what if it's an early morning closing? Is that, and you got to do that final walk through the date, you know, hours before the closing? How hectic is that?
No, it's just a matter of me getting up out of the bed early. You do what you gotta do for your clients. It's payday. Get up, put your makeup on, and let's go. That day don't matter. I could get up 4 o'clock if you need me.
Yeah, get that reward, getting that reward.
Exactly. That's the joy. You know, you work with the client, you hold their hand 60 days. That's your reward. You know, you come shop for your reward that day.
All righty.
All righty, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, have a good one, all.
All right.
Thank
Okay, thank you
you.
so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.